This is the video lecture for the film The Dybbuk. This video lecture is really just going to go over some background information to help you understand the film. Some of the other video lectures are going to be much more complete with regard to taking a look at individual clips from each of the movies. So the first thing we need to know about the Dybbuk is what it is. The Dybbuk is a malicious possessing spirit that is the dislocated soul of a dead person, basically somebody who has some unfinished business. If you've seen the movie Casper from, 15, 20 years ago now. And it comes from the Hebrew word, which means the act of sticking, because the Dybbuk sticks to a person until its unfinished business is complete. The film The Dybbuk is a Yiddish movie, so you need to understand the difference between Yiddish and Hebrew. Hebrew, of course, is the language of the Bible. Yiddish is essentially German written in Hebrew characters. It is mostly German vocabulary with a little bit of Hebrew put in there. And it was spoken by about 13 million people, most of whom perished in the Holocaust. And now about 2 million people speak Yiddish, mostly in the United States and in Israel. So we have a couple short films to help you understand a little bit more about Yiddish, kind of funny films. I apologize if you are offended by the stereotypes or perhaps by some of the profanity. If you are, you can just fast forward. Otherwise, have a little bit of a laugh.
See Jane. Jane is married to Bob. Jane loves Bob very much. Bob is a real mensch.
Mensch. A real person. A mature, admirable, unselfish human being. That editorial made me so upset, but Timmy got up and went all the way to the bathroom to bring me the Xanax, the little mensch.
Jane works in real estate. Today is Sunday. Jane has an open house. She must schlep the open house signs to the car. See Jane schlep. Schlep, Jane, schlep. Schlep, schlep, schlep.
Schlep. To lug or carry laboriously, to travel arduously or simply over an unnecessarily long distance. Of course I invited Magellan, but he can't make it. Why? Because all of a sudden he decides he has to schlep around the globe for 2 years.
Bob takes Katie and Scott to visit Jane's mother. Katie and Scott visit grandmother a lot. Bob and Katie and Scott arrive at grandmother's house. They ring the bell and wait for Booby to open the door.
Booby, or Bubby, or Bubba, or Bubba. Grandmother. There is no word for grandfather because he's already dead.
Gornished.
Gornished. Nothing, nada, zip, zilch, and in a bad way. Not, what do you want on your hamburger, Sal? Gornished. But rather, what do you want on your hamburger, Sal? What do I want on my hamburger? I'll tell you what I want on my hamburger. I want your sister should give me a little respect when she calls and I answer the phone. Instead, I say hello, and she right away asks for you. I get garnished. That's what I want on my hamburger.
Bob finds the spare key under the mat. He opens the door. Oi, gevalt!
Oi, gevalt. Expression of dismay that vaguely suggests unhappy or worrisome ramifications. So how's my grandson, the medical student? He's specializing in what? Pediatric gynecology? This is a field? Oi, gevalt.
So if you, like me, are on Spilkis because of Jane, Bob, and the whole mishpacha, including the Dybbuk altercocker we left on the floor, then get off your tuchus and buy Yiddish with Dick and Jane.
Okay, and here is now a clip from The Dictator starring Sacha Baron Cohen, who happens to have been born in Israel and is Jewish.
Goodbye. Stop, wait! What are you doing? How did you find me? You texted me like 7 times. I'm executing myself. What? Why? Because no one has ever loved me. Your father would be ashamed of you. No, I've realized I don't want to be like my father. In fact, I don't want to be a dictator anymore. What's that now? I've been on a spiritual journey, man, like Eat, Pray, Love. Have you gone insane? I now know that on the outside, I am a bit of a cocksucker. Yeah, but deep down, I'm nice. Not really. Yes, I am. I'm like my froom. Hard and spiky on the outside, but soft and really mushy on the end. You're not like my froom at all. You're like an onion, an outer layer of cocksucker, and when you peel it away, there is 10 more layers of cocksucker underneath. You are such a schmuck. Why are you speaking Yiddish? I picked it up. What do you mean I picked it up? Who picks up Yiddish? I'm in New York. We're trying to erase that country off the map. I don't like the people, but I like the way that their words really sound like what they meant to be. Did I not get the invite to your bar mitzvah? Oh my God! You've got real chutzpah saying that. Look, where has being a nice guy gotten you, huh? Standing on the edge of a bridge about to commit suicide, still wearing Crocs? What's wrong with Crocs? They're the universal symbol of a man who has given up hope. You might as well put sweatpants on and go to Applebee's for the rest of your...
Okay, so that's the part of that clip that has to do with Yiddish. It's interesting how Yiddish has snuck into the English language. A couple other things that we need to know about for background for the film The Dybbuk is the concept of the shtetl. Shtetl is a small village or town, mostly Jewish, that existed in Eastern and Central Europe. From about 1200, they started to decline during the Enlightenment when many people were attracted by the lure of liberalism and of new ways of thinking that was coming from the West. And Hasidic Judaism, which is ultra-Orthodox Judaism on the spectrum of Jewish observance. It is far to the right, and ultra-Orthodox communities exist today in Israel and around the world. You can see a picture there, a stereotypical picture of an ultra-Orthodox family walking around in New York. And he's wearing a shtreimel, which is a traditional hat that is worn on Shabbat. And the last thing that we need to take a look at is a little bit of understanding of German Expressionism, which is the type of film technique that is used in the Dybbuk. And I think that the best way to do this is to take a look at a short film that I found on YouTube that talks about Tim Burton's influences, or the influences from German Expressionism that Tim Burton put into his films. And that concludes our video lecture for the Dybbuk.